You know, the Jurassic Park movies are really iconic, but I do sometimes ask myself what dinosaur from the films is the most iconic. Is it the raptors? Maybe it's one of the hybrid dinos from the Jurassic World films. Or maybe it's the T Rex. Well, let's build a dinosaur pen for one of those iconic dinosaurs. Welcome back to Building Jurassic Park. Things are once again developing rapidly in the park. For the first time since I started on it about 6 weeks ago, the carnivore zone is actually starting to come towards being completed, with only a handful of pens left to build. I decided to start off the week strong by building a pretty big and cool pen with a variety of different dinosaurs. As with all the other pens, I started by cutting down a bunch of trees and making a rough design on where I want the pen to be positioned. At this point, I had cut down so many trees that this part of the island could hardly be called a forest anymore. I do plan to at some point come back through and place down a bunch more trees. After beginning to build the pen, I decided I wanted to have two different biomes in it. So I came up with this design where the top section of the pen is a small jungle with vines hanging down, and the bottom half is a beach. The vines ironically ended up causing a few more problems later on, since it turns out that dinosaurs can climb them, and while they never escaped, some did come far too close to the border for comfort. While I was building this, Martha was off in the Gallimimus pen building a bunch of small cabins that form part of the Woodland themed hotel, where you can sleep in these cabins in the dinosaur area. The front entrance for it currently has this big parasaur skeleton on top of it, but the plan is to eventually swap this out for a Gallimimus skeleton. Later on, we would go over and add a few other herbivores in the area, just to increase the dinosaur count. Jumping back to my ever-growing factory, I decided it was time to do something to increase our ore production even further. Don't get me wrong, the digital miner was producing ore at a simply incredible rate. But I knew we could be doubling it, so I designed this system where any ore collected from the miner is pumped out of the chests onto a conveyor belt system, where they are then dropped into this immersive engineering crusher that smashes the ore up before that ore is pushed away into a smelter system. You can actually watch this crusher from up above through a glass floor. The furnace system itself is completely separate from our pre-existing smelter system, but this one is dedicated just for ore. Now, to be honest, this entire system is not exactly the fastest whatsoever. However, it does double the ore, so I'm not complaining. To speed up the process, I could always swap the smelters out for an arc furnace, which could smelt dozens of ore at once. However, this is 100% a build for another day. Little did I know that while I was doing tech stuff, Martha was finding a solution to our villager population problem. The problem was that we had so many villagers but nowhere to really house them, so we were just leaving them in the laboratory, and it was starting to become really crowded. Hello.
Have carrots now because we're running out of eggs.
I can't believe we're running out of eggs.
I know.
We'll have to increase our egg farm again.
I know.
So you come across the incinerator.
Yeah, because they've got to remind them if they misbehave, that's where they're going.
Oh, bloody hell, Martha.
So I've also just spotted a block I've missed. So have a nice explore. So I can't build over the other side because of the water, but I've done a nice little seating area to remind them that there's nothing out there and they can't escape.
Oh, is this their television?
Yeah, essentially.
They can look out into
you
the...
can't really look out because I picked the bars where it's really hard to see out. So if you go down the stairs.
It also tells them they can't mine through the wall to escape.
Exactly. This is kind of like a sitting area for them with some more.
Are they actually wandering about?
No, I've made them stay now. Like I just put them on windows so they sort of go away from each other.
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, they're all rooms with a bunk bed, and each set of bunk bed only has one chest, so they have to fight over it.
What I'm going to do, I'm going to come through at some point and set all of these to their homes, so they actually come here at night. And then we're going to have them walking around in the day, but they'll still come here at night. This would actually inspire me to create a weapon to surpass Metal Gear.
Have you made a gun?
No.
I mean, it clearly says pew pew.
No, it doesn't. I think you're imagining stuff. This is something I've wanted to build for a while. but I've never got around to it because I'd have to use Mechanism. But then I found that another mod has an even better version.
Okay, is it a tank?
No. This is to stop the villagers if they get out of hand. I want you to just imagine
You made a
using
grenade
this.
launcher.
Huh?
You made a grenade launcher.
No, but just imagine using this inside the lab in the prison.
Is it a flamethrower? Please tell me it's a flamethrower.
Okay.
What is that? That looks like a flamethrower. It is a flamethrower.
Now,
Tree, Josh.
hang on.
Put the tree out.
It's not working. Here we go.
Make a fire extinguisher as well.
Yep.
Can you use it?
I've come prepared.
Fuck's sake. That was my favourite tree as well, Josh. Yeah, we can build it off
Yeah.
the doorway I've put down there. So it's
Martha,
all
we've got a fire extinguisher. To celebrate finally having a flamethrower, I built a bedroom for myself and left room for Martha to build her own opposite. Both of these rooms have a large sliding door and a doorbell, because why not? Inside my room, you can come into an entryway with a table, a button to control the door, 2 armour stands, and a charging pad to replenish your batteries. This living room comes into a library with a television, a table, and a staircase leading to the top floor, where we find the master bedroom and the bathroom, which even has a fully working mirror. There's also this fish tank, which at some point I will add some fish inside of. So show me your room and I'll wire it up.
This is my room.
Very... Martha,
Yeah.
you're aware we're going to need to put a wall here on either side, right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I didn't know what you wanted to do. So
Oh, okay, cool, let's continue.
this is the actual wall.
Sorry, where did you get this armour?
I might have nicked it out of the system.
What even armour is it?
Steel?
Oh.
It doesn't have any trousers or shoes, but go in there.
Oh, I'm liking this, hang on.
Actually, before we go in there, come with me.
Yep.
Look.
Oh, thank you.
Go in there.
Ooh. Of course, I was wondering where the dodos. We'll get some proper dodos as well at some point. In the
This
museum.
is where my army of dodos is going to start, Josh.
I thought I was the one who made armies of dodos. After Martha showed me her room, I went back towards the Gallimimus pen and built this information hub with this unique roof. At some point, I'm going to add maps of the park on the wall, and also have an NPC who will give out maps of the park. There will also be an NPC who can give you information about different parts of the park, such as what the restaurants are, etc. In the background while preparing this, I was secretly preparing a dinosaur I had long been looking forward to having in the park. The Tyrannosaurus Rex. This pen ended up having this cave. Now, admittedly, it was far too small for the T-Rex, and in later weeks I will have to go back to rebuild the cave. This isn't the only occasion I underestimated the size of the T-Rex. When I would place them down, they would actually end up growing to be the exact same height as the pen wall. I'm going to have to either climb into that pit and lower the floor by a few blocks, or just add a safety fence. Also, funny story, when I first placed the T-Rexes, there were 2 of them, and they both grew to adulthood. However, after a while, the smaller T-Rex disappeared. My only assumption to what happened is that it was eaten by its older brother. Martha was also off building another herbivore pen. The exact plan for this pen plays into an idea we developed, which we will build in weeks to come, but for now, I won't reveal what it is. In this pen, she has put a bunch of new herbivores we didn't have before, such as these awesome long necks, which were a bit too big for the pen, so we moved them into the brachy enclosure instead, which would then become just the long neck pen. Martha also wanted to put some dinosaur plants in here, and get enough to put them in all of our different pens. To get enough of the plants, Martha transformed our biolab into a prehistoric plant factory. Admittedly, she went a bit mad, becoming absolutely obsessed with producing them and finishing this little beach tower, which serves as both a lifeguard hut and a check-in desk for the Gallimimus Hotel. Deciding it had been far too long since we got a new vehicle, I built yet another car. This one being a carrier. Unfortunately, this carrier ended up being a lot smaller than I imagined, So once I built it and installed an engine, I just parked it up at the herbivore car park and sort of forgot about it. It was even a lot slower than I thought it would be, but to be fair, it may have just been because of the engine I installed. With Martha's plant obsession going overboard, we both went and built some grassy areas, with me building this little grassy cut through in the carnivore zone, and Martha building this herbivore picnic area that overlooked the river next to the longneck pen. Not being content to stop there, Martha also went overboard and built this swamp themed pen in the carnivore zone. And that is where we are going to leave this week's episode. For the swamp pen, we will place the dinosaurs inside it next week. I'm also planning to finish the last few pens for the herbivore zone next week, and begin to lay the groundwork for the next area of the park. So join us next time on Building Jurassic Park.